Hi everyone, I'm Chef Mohammed from the Humane Society of the United States, and today we are making a crispy, impossible black bean shepherd's pie. That just sounds so good. I can't wait to show you guys how to make it. Let's get started. So we're gonna start off with our impossible bean crumble. Over here we have some low sodium black beans that have been drained and rinsed. They're gonna go into a large mixing bowl. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a fork or a potato masher. We're just gonna slightly mash the beans. You don't want to turn it into a paste. You just kind of want to lightly smash them in. Just, take out all your anger on these beans. You just want to make sure you break them down, but you don't want to form this into a paste. And next to the bowl, we're going to add some Impossible meat. So this is vegan meat. Feel free to use any brand you like. We're using Impossible here. This is just some vegan ground meat. A little bit of salt and pepper. And we're gonna add a kind of an aggressive amount of cumin. I know it looks like a lot, but it's not, trust me, it's gonna taste delicious. And now we're just gonna mix this all in. As I mentioned, you wanna make sure you don't turn this into a paste, otherwise it won't be a crumble, it will be just this kind of mushy type of gluey thing that it's not gonna be good, the texture won't be good. So you just wanna make sure that you just combine them, but you don't wanna over mix this. And my friends, that is it. This looks delicious. Not really, not yet, to be honest, but it's gonna look delicious once we cook it down. Okay, so now we're gonna cook our Impossible black bean mixture. So to a pan on medium heat, we're gonna add a touch of canola oil. And now once our oil is up to heat, we're gonna add our white onions. And we're gonna saute our onions for around 3 to 5 minutes or until translucent. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. Our onions are now translucent. So now we're gonna add our minced garlic. And we're gonna cook this down for about a minute or until fragrant. And now we're going to add our Impossible bean mixture to the pan. And we're going to cook this down for around 9 to 10 minutes, around 10 minutes, because we want this to become a little crispy. We want it to turn into a crumble, okay? And you want to stir this often. Doesn't have to be constantly, but you do want to make sure that the meat is cooked through and everything is nice and brown. All right, our crumble looks all set. It looks nice and crumbly, right? We're just gonna hold this hot now and we're gonna start on our stew. Okay, so now for our stew. So in a stock pot, we're gonna combine some vegetable stock, red wine vinegar, some tomato paste, 1 bay leaf. Oh, it's time for thyme. And some frozen peas and carrots. And over medium-high heat, we're just gonna combine all of this and bring it up to a simmer. Okay, our stew is up to a simmer. That's perfect. We're now gonna add in our crumble. And we're gonna mix this up and we're gonna allow this to simmer for around 20 to 30 minutes until it's thickened up. Okay, so now we're gonna start on our potato croquettes. We're gonna bring water, butter, and salt to a boil. So in goes our water, a little bit of non-dairy butter, and a touch of salt. All right, so our mixture is to a boil. We're gonna turn off the heat. Okay, we're gonna stir in some soy milk and some potato flakes. We're gonna stir this up until combined. And now once that's combined, we're gonna stir in some all-purpose flour. And now we're gonna let this cool a little bit before handling because we're gonna roll them out into 1-ounce balls. Okay, so our potato mixture has cooled. We're now gonna portion them into 1-ounce portions. I have a scale here. If you have a 1-ounce scoop, feel free to use that. I'm gonna be using a scale, and that's 1 ounce. And we're just gonna grab them and kind of roll them into balls. Look at that, it's a little croquette. We're gonna place it on a tray, and we're gonna continue rolling until our potato mixture is all gone. Okay, so our croquettes are all set. They've been portioned into 1-ounce balls. We're gonna wrap this up and place it in the freezer for at least 1 hour. You can also freeze them overnight. Okay, so it's been over 1 hour. Our potato balls have been frozen. We're now gonna start to coat them, okay? So I set up a little breading station here. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna toss our potato ball in some all-purpose flour. Next, we're gonna submerge it in some soy milk. And lastly, we're gonna toss it in some breadcrumbs. And now we're immediately gonna fry this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes. So we're looking for them to get a nice golden brown color on each side. You could use a deep fryer. I'm just using a pan here, so I'm gonna have to flip them once. It's up to you. Okay, I'm gonna start to flip mine over. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so some of our croquettes look all set. Beautiful. I'm gonna allow them to drain on a perforated pan. And just look how amazing those croquettes look. So while we clean up, these croquettes can be held hot, and we're gonna get ready for assembly. So in a bowl, we're gonna add 1.5 cups of our stew. And we're gonna top our stew with 5 croquettes. And that is it, people. Look how amazing that looks. Over here we have our crispy, impossible black bean shepherd's pie.